Welcome guys, and welcome to another video. And don't do drugs, kids, because drugs are bad. And there's a reason I'm talking about this is there have been some serious clampdowns on drug taking in China very recently. So recently I was contacted by a subscriber who has just made it back to the UK, and he was part of a big drug bust up in Suzhou. And the story goes very simply, him and his mates and their whole sort of foreign circle have been smoking weed for years now up in Suzhou. It's been, totally okay and blasé, and everyone kind of thinks it's cool and that they've been doing it. And recently somebody got busted, and the cops went through their phone and basically got all the contacts out of his phone, and they went and got every single person and forced them to do a urine test. And after the urine test, found that the guy had some marijuana in his system from a couple of weeks ago. Detained everyone. There's 20 plus of these guys detained for 3 weeks. 2 weeks in kind of like a drug rehab type detention center, and then the third week in a proper detention center, and then immediately deported afterwards. This is just one of many of these stories I've been hearing recently. And it's something I've been saying from the get-go. Smoking weed and taking drugs might be normal where you're from. You might have your reasons. You might say it's medicinal or it's good for you or whatever, and that's totally fine. It's entirely up to you to believe what you want to believe. Problem is, China doesn't believe that. And when you're in China, they are incredibly harsh when it comes to drugs. And this is a hangover from the opium wars. And you have to understand that an entire country was brought to its knees twice because of drugs. And so they are seriously hung up about it. And that's why you can get the death penalty. And foreigners have gotten the death penalty for smuggling a certain amount of drugs. It's over a certain amount. And it's serious, guys. Like, not only could you get the death penalty for smuggling drugs if you were thinking about being a mule, don't do it, but just casually smoking weed, which... to most of the Western world seems like a very harmless thing to do. And it's kind of like a hobby, and it's legalized in a lot of places around the world. It's not in China. So remember, guys, when you come to China, ditch that habit. Like, no joke. This is not from a moral standpoint or anything like that. This is from a standpoint of practicality. If you get caught, and now they're raiding especially foreign bars and foreign restaurants and things like that all over the country. Here in Shenzhen, raids happen, on a weekly basis at the moment, and it's random, and people don't get any forewarning. And recently in Beijing, they've been doing it a lot too, and Shanghai as well. Just about everywhere where there's a large concentration of foreigners, and they are targeting foreigners. Don't make any mistake about that. So they go to the foreign bars. I'll show you some pictures of what's been going on. They go to the foreign bars, they force everyone to take a urine test. And if you come up with drugs in your system right then and there, they basically arrest you, detain you, and then deport you. Like, my subscriber didn't even have the option to go and pick up his stuff. He had to organize for a roommate of his to pack all his stuff up for him and then send it to him. So guys, stern warning, if you're coming to China, if you're living in China, stay away from the drugs. Even if some other local foreigners are like, oh, it's fine, we've been doing it for years, or it's cool, do what you want type thing. Remember that now, especially right now, it's a very harsh climate, and they're going after drugs, and they're going after foreigners taking drugs. So look after yourself, guys. Drink all the booze you want, because, yeah, it's a drug, but it's legal here. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. See you next time, and you know the drill, as always.